Hi, I'm Stanislav Pronin. I consider myself a very lucky person because I've had the opportunity to study with some of the best violin professors in the world. However, I gotta admit that, unfortunately, none of my teachers have ever addressed mental health, stress, or performance-related anxiety issues. And I can tell you from my own experience, as well as experience of many esteemed friends and colleagues, that mental health plays a huge role in the life of a musician. Very often, it's not the lack of technical proficiency on the instrument that keeps us from being great, but rather the ability to remove certain psychological barriers. Now, let's get a bit more technical and scientific for a minute. Since we're now discussing performance anxiety and stress, we have to talk about cortisol. As some of you may know, cortisol is commonly referred to as the stress hormone. It is released by the adrenal glands. In fact, our brain triggers the release of cortisol via the sympathetic nervous system, otherwise known as the fight or flight system, in response to many different kinds of stress, including the stress of performing on stage. Now, while proper cortisol release is important for certain metabolic functions, as well as helping us deal with certain dangerous and stressful situations, excessive cortisol release can be quite harmful. So naturally, you might ask me, well, I'm a performer, I'm always stressed, how do I moderate my cortisol release? In this video, I'd like to talk to you about 4 ways in which you can naturally lower your cortisol levels. First of all, you gotta get enough sleep. Even though the idea of sufficiency in terms of sleep can vary from person to person, I would recommend 6 to 8 hours of sleep before an important concert. So let's say, for example, that you're on the road, you're with some friends, you're on tour, you're having a great time, you played a great concert, everything is going wonderful, and you want to have a few drinks, a few laughs. It's all great, but you gotta know that tomorrow you gotta play a concert. So with all the drinking, all the partying, you have to get enough sleep. I'm one of those people that often has a hard time falling asleep, right? Especially if there's an important concert coming up. What I can recommend you, what helps me personally, is turn your phone off about 2 hours before you go to bed and read a book instead of watching videos, for example. Also, definitely limit the intake of caffeine and carbohydrates, especially simple carbohydrates or sugars, throughout the day. This will certainly help you fall asleep easier. Number 2 on our list is exercise. Working out on a regular basis can help you lower cortisol levels. However, you shouldn't exercise too much. In fact, excessive physical exercise has been shown to actually increase cortisol levels. I recommend 30 to 40 minutes of moderate cardio, plus 15 to 20 minutes of weight training per session about 3 to 4 times a week. The third aspect that will help you keep your cortisol levels from getting too high is maintaining a proper diet. Generally, you should consume foods that are high in protein and healthy fats. When you consume carbohydrates, make sure they are slow digestive carbohydrates instead of simple sugars. So to give you some examples, go for whole grain products, lean steak, chicken breast, or salmon. Now, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, make sure you take omega-3 essential fatty acid as an additional supplement to your diet. And the fourth and last point I'd like to address is identifying negative thinking. As you might have guessed, your psychological state has a huge influence on cortisol release. As a performer, it's very important to learn how to deal with stress and mind games and to be able to stop them before they come to haunt you on stage. Mind games can create huge psychological barriers which are responsible for excessive cortisol release on stage. I have previously published several videos on my channel where I discuss mind games and stress in great detail. For those of you who are interested, please check out the links to those videos in the description below. I will continue to release many videos to help you improve your violin playing as well as find mental and spiritual balance. If you're interested, please subscribe And as always, stay tuned.